What's good, folks? Welcome back to the DotaPit League season number 3. A lot of carnage already being had here in this series between Team Secret and Vega Squadron. One of the most exciting games I think we've seen all season, and honestly, we've had a number of them. The games so far have been outstanding. DotaPit has been rolling, and we're only a couple days into the tournament. With that being said, we have another one for you here. It's going to be Team Secret versus Vega Squadron. Their two-game series about to end with this last game. Secret going up 1-0 with a pretty close game, something that was probably a bit closer than Secret had planned. They had crushed the laning phase. I'm not even talking. It wasn't even close. Secret got a hold of that laning phase, and they dominated. They'll proceed to try to do so here with this draft as well. Vega Squadron looking to get something going here in this second game. As always, folks, thank you so much for joining us here. We get the entire HighGroundTV production crew joining us today. Of course, as always, Mott Pax, the statsman with the best jokes in the universe, as well as Pip Muckle, our production manager, and of course, Tralf. What's up, man? How are you feeling after that last game?
Pretty good, man. It was definitely too close for comfort if you're Team Secret. Like you mentioned, they absolutely crushed in the laning phase, and then just one kind of a mishap there as they got a little bit greedy and they're trying to get those stacks that they stacked up for Tiny with only 2 members inside the jungle. I think it was like, what, 8 minutes in or 2 or something like that.
Yep.
But yeah, definitely too close for comfort as Vega put a really nice game in, I would say. Like, just a couple different things in the end there. I think if they had a little bit more experience, they could have possibly taken that. I think they just... I still wondering about the BKB purchase. It feels like you need it, you know, there's so many stuns and things. There's still the lasso, though, from Bat, and I don't know, that's debatable, but I think that Supernova was just lacking in that game. He got such a slow level 6. Even when he had it, it's obviously very ineffective. Well, it's very ineffective across the board against Troll Warlord, but it's also effective in general at level 1, so...
Yeah.
But we'll see. They definitely played very well. I was very impressed by the support play, the Wisp and especially the Dazzle, the unsung heroes of that game for Vega.
Absolutely. They made that game closer than it probably should have been with some really nice graves. Io made a couple of big plays, although Zai pretty much had his number in terms of relocating out of the fight. But I got to say, for Vega, this is probably one of the most exciting teams I've watched, and they look so good. They looked amazing in the qualifiers. They tore their way through here, and they're holding their own up against one of the best teams in the world, arguably maybe the second or third best team in the world at this point in time, and they're looking good in doing so. This roster, with no one kind of at the helm with his play as the mid laner, has been putting on a lot of work. So for Secret, they have their work cut out for them, but they have some really solid choices in the draft thus far. You have the Bat Rider for Zai, more than likely, again, after his stellar performance in that last game where he snatched up an Aegis, and obviously Puppy's Enigma, which is legendary to say the least. And Vega go for the other direction. They pick up the Troll Warlord and the Disruptor as well.
Yep, Disruptor early on here too, so that'll be fun to watch. It's the Bat Rider. He really forces me to get an early BKB. I guess it's quite good against the Enigma too, like being able to cancel the black hole in a number of different ways with decent range. But it is interesting to see it picked up this early. You never see this, or I should say you typically don't see this from players or teams. Maybe they have someone who's just like a Disruptor specialist. Like I know the old E-Hug, Lust, would play Disruptor a lot just because he was very, very good at that hero. And some people just have certain support heroes that they feel very, very comfortable and confident in playing. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if that's the case, but I am curious to see how it plays out this game.
I agree with the Disruptor pick, kind of unusual, but Glib is pretty solid against, I think, the Bat Rider for the most part. I'm not sure if you touched on that already, but Team Secret, they have a choice here for their bans. I want to see what they pick No One. They pick a lot of Wind Ranger for him. That seems to be one of his best heroes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of other options too. I don't know if he plays like TA or anything, but I mean, there's so many mid heroes. I just know that he plays a lot of Wind Ranger. I think also maybe Troll could go mid, but I'm not sure. I haven't seen a lot of Troll mid actually recently. I don't know if that's still a thing or not.
Still very good mid hero. Like it actually wins most 1v1 matchups. And in the ones that it doesn't win, you can just kind of play him as a spammer, where you use your range for him, attack the range creep a couple of times, rush in there with Whirling Axe's melee, and then just spam out the waves like you would say like a Lina or something like that. So, but yeah, I remember his Wind Ranger. It was really, really good, and that's a hero that I think outside of like say Team Secret, not many teams pick him up as a core anyway.
And even when Secret pick him, they have like there's like really good games for S4 on the Wind Ranger, and there's games where it's just kind of like his team, I don't know, he doesn't get the shackle shots he's looking for. Maybe he gets a couple of power shot snipes, but he still doesn't have the effect that maybe they want to have with him. I like the hero, though. I think that hero is solid. But the Venomancer coming up from Secret, again, we've talked about this, doesn't really feel like an RTZ hero, so more than likely, we saw Kuroki play it the last time, and he actually had like such an early Aghanim scepter in the game that he played with it, so there's maybe a chance he picks that up again, I think.
Yeah, I remember they picked it up, and he was playing it as a support, and he had a very, very early farm. As you mentioned, he had like Veil Ags at a ridiculous timing. Rubik, you're picked up, obviously one of the better supports in the game against Enigma. Even with BKB, your Black Hole can still be stolen. You have to get a Linken's BKB, and then probably a Blink too, but that's a lot to ask for. So, very good support hero. And I actually like the pairing with Rubik and Disruptor. We don't ever see this, but like Disruptor has one of the highest damage nukes in the game. It stays with the hero. It actually has a tiny little bit of AoE as well, like 200 or something, 240, and that couples nicely actually with Rubik. So. Yeah, we'll see how this has to work. Razor, okay, one of the best heroes in the game against Rubik. Rubik has 3 targetable spells, which he has to use. So it's going to purge him every single time.
Yeah, and they picked the Rubik into a team secret lineup where you know that Razor's always an option for RTZ. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah, that's true. The SF banned out, so what's the next best thing? I guess it's Razor, maybe Medusa. I think RTZ told me once that he really likes Lone Druid, but hasn't played it that much. So, but Razor's, yeah, like you mentioned, like his next best hero.
And that's he plays that so often. He did some work at obviously at TI with it last time around. That's when I think it first started getting played a lot. But since then, it's fallen off a little bit. There've been a couple of changes, I think, to Static Link in particular, but still a good hero. Vega go for a Queen of Pain, which against Razor is a solid choice. You could break free of that Static Link pretty easily. No real targeted spells other than Shadow Strike. Sonic Wave and Scream of Pain, they're point targets, so Pain doesn't have a target. So I think it's a good choice. A lot of burst damage as well. They can blow up Enigma, Venomancer, and even Batrider pretty easily with the amount of damage the Queen of Pain does this game.
Yeah, she does have to be a little bit careful from Black Holes and the Batrider Lasso, but that's really all there is to it. As far as on Team Secret, no other stun. They have one more hero, and speaking of Wind Ranger, I wouldn't be surprised to see them pick up a one-position Wind Ranger for S4. Seems like their style, they like it a lot. They need another kind of hero that's a core, but can also have some kind of stun ability, or someone to keep, like say, the Queen of Pain in place. Like I said, there's pretty much just the Black Hole and Lasso, which are phenomenal abilities, but they need something a little bit more reliable, something that's not a huge ultimate. So I wouldn't be surprised to see the Wind Ranger. What else is there? Maybe I was gonna say like a farming centaur, but they banned it out themselves. But
yeah, they also banned Mag. Not that they would have gone for that, like you said, maybe too big of an ultimate there. Obviously S4 though, and the Safe Lane Mag has done some work. But actually, I think you're right. Wind Ranger works really well here. But the thing is that you're playing against Vega, who know how to play against that hero or know how to play that hero very well. So Puck maybe. Montpex is pointing out for S4 could be an option. I think that might not be a bad choice.
Sure, yeah, Puck is great actually. They like to run a lot of those kind of heroes as a safe lane too. It's like heroes that when they run a jungler, it's like their whole idea is we run a jungler, but we also want to make sure that if they do go aggressive, that we can still, if not combat them, at least not die. So that's why in DAC, for example, when they brought out this strategy, it was like, okay, well that's definitely not one of those heroes I just outlined. But
yeah.
Okay, so they go for the Drow Ranger. They have 5 range heroes, I guess. Very good with the Eidolons. Once you pop that marksmanship, or sorry, not marksmanship, but the precision aura. So yeah, I guess Vega didn't see it coming because this isn't like your typical Drow Ranger lineup.
It's also not a typical hero you see S4 play too often, especially when there's a Razor in tow. This feels like an RTZ hero almost for Team Secret, but
yeah, definitely. Huh, interesting. Okay, well, I wasn't expecting that. I thought, as you mentioned, Puck would have been a cool option too, but like I said, I guess they do have lots of ranged heroes, as all of them are ranged, and then the Eidolons will get buffed up with the aura, so we'll see how it works out.
They have the last pick now coming from Vega Squadron. See what they want to do. 18 seconds left of reserve time. Faceless Void. Nice. That was not the pick I don't think anyone was expecting. That kind of came out of left field.
You're gonna need some kind of hero that can close the distance and close the gap with the Drow. And you were right, it is going to be an RTZ Drow, as it seems to suit the whole lineup a little bit more or I should just say a little bit better. So S4 on the Razor, unless they do some kind of swapping. S4 on the Razor, Arteezy on the Drow, and yeah, okay. So as long as they can close the gap in this Drow, that'll be fine. But if Team Secret have a good time in the laning stage, having the jungler, and they can get some early towers, it's going to be really, really hard to fight into a mech, and the Drow Ranger pumping up everyone's damage. So it's really going to come down to how much Vega can get out of the laning stage, and if they block a lot of Puppy's camps.
The thing is, this is non-Posh play the offlane faces Void, so if they're putting this Tron Trollboulder in the safe lane, putting Queen of Pain mid for no one, it is going to be Crow on the Venomancer, so yeah, that's what we expected. They don't really play the Venom that often as a core, I don't think, if ever. That's a good choice, but there's going to be some interesting lane setups here. I'm waiting to see how this actually plays out. Puppy obviously going to be in the jungle. That's the biggest thing. Also, he's going to have a pretty good time having Precision Ore. Obviously, gets a bit more damage to work with. And it's like you said, it's a 5-range lineup. So even though S4 isn't necessarily stealing damage with Static Link, he's still getting plenty of right click to go with. He's going to have like 60 damage at the beginning of the game, which is pretty nice for a Razor with a Wraith Band already picked up. Seema goes boots first onto this Rubik. He's pretty speedy. They're going to go with an aggressive 4-man rotation up into the jungle. Decent first blood kind of lineup if they want to go for it. But it looks like they just want to ward quickly in the shallow part of the jungle. They'll back up. They don't want to commit too much into Puppy's jungle at this point. They're not going to try to stop him from getting up fast 4.5 minute, level 6 in the black hole coming out.
Yep, and they want to ambush this top rune, which if Secret scouted out or at least anticipated.
I see that ward. That does not spot out anybody from Secret though. Yeah, it's just out of vision, and they can't quite see Tron. But now 9Posh is going to walk down, and they will be spotted. And I don't know if Secret go for this anymore.
Maybe they're trying to bait him out or something, but looks like it's just going to be one bounty for another bounty. We'll see if Kuroki takes the bait though. They're going to really have to let him bait. Here we go. He's got boots himself, and he doesn't take it. So
they can't. They can't. They would have to jump in with like maybe a glimpse first, and Arzik would have to be in position. But Kuroki, not really going to fall for that. He'll back away. He realizes the rest of them are coming down the hill, and they allow the bounty rune to go to 9Posh. He'll have a better start in the off lane. S4 does pick up that early bounty rune. He'll actually be the Razor here, and into the mid lane as well, up against the Queen of Pain. Static linking, not going to be easy. The blink cooldown also pretty low, so that shouldn't be a problem. Kuroki's going to rotate down bottom. The aggro dueling with Arteezy on the Drow Ranger. This lane feels awful to deal with. Drow Ranger plus a Venomancer, that doesn't feel fun.
And they keep Zai up top. As they were expecting some kind of aggression, but it's not full-on aggression. It's only dual lanes, which I think is a smarter choice from Vega. The only problem, though, that I fear is that they didn't ward any of Enigma's camp. So if this goes passively, Secret will win in the long run, just because they have a support hero that's essentially a massive ore. And Puppy, he's already taken out one camp. He's going to stack this one and gets Mud Golems, but that's totally fine because you're an Enigma. And you already have your Eidolon split up, so he's going to get just uncontested farm. If this isn't addressed, or if Vega don't do anything, fantastically great in the laning stage by getting a number of kills, I think Secret's going to really pull ahead. Yeah.
The one thing I kind of worry about is that Kuroki, in terms of getting kills, he can't really rotate anywhere. I mean, these heroes have a lot of mobility. You have a Queen of Pain with Blink, you have a Time Walk up for the Faceless Void, so even if he goes for that 2-point Gale build that he did last time we saw this, I don't think he's going to be effective. They kind of have to use like Black Hole to secure kills, let's say on the Faceless Void or something, unless they get kind of lucky. But I think right now they just want to keep Arteezy safe bottom to farm. That's probably the biggest thing.
Yeah, they're keeping the pressure. In top lane, 3 stacks on the Void, but
He already used his Time Walk too, but he's under the tower.
Yeah, he still has a health potion, so 6 CS for him, not too bad. It wasn't a straight up 1v1, but that's okay. I still am fearful that Puppy's just going to get so much farm. And it's good for him too, because he bought everything, I believe, since Kuroki bought boots.
Telekinesis? There's going to be the usage of that kinetic field. He's dead. The first blood is going to go to Arzik. They got the Gale off, but he just was a little bit out of position, and they didn't expect Seema to come with the telekinesis and boots first. Because of that, they get the kill, and Arteezy has to sit in the trees, kind of fearful for his own life. And his farm is going to be stifled because of it. The off-lane-ish Drow Ranger now coming out for Secret, so... But top lane in response, ooh, 9Posh getting some bashes. Zai's out of mana, but there is no Time Walk for 9Posh. He does have boots, he'll pick up an Orb of Venom, and Zai's going to right-click him in return. Bit of a duel happening in this top lane.
And Zai's gonna have to go heal. He's got nothing. Actually, I think his bottle's coming. Yeah, bottle's coming on the courier, so that's fine, but he's gonna have to take some time to regen. I imagine he bottle crows this too. Unless, actually, you know what? He stole this bottle before S4 got his, so that's actually kind of a big deal. S4's not gonna have a bottle for a little bit of time, and if no one could find some kind of extra damage onto him, maybe gets a kill if S4 doesn't play his cards right. So yeah, it's kind of annoying for him.
Double blink, double scream of pain. Doesn't go for the shadow strike, which is smart. Meanwhile, top lane 9posh going on to Zai, cannot find the kill again. 9posh is just a bit too slow to catch up with Zai at this point in time. Like you talked about, though, goes for that early bottle, and because he gets it early on, it's not going to affect his timing for his blink dagger too much. But the problem is, we talk about this a lot, is that Puppy's in the jungle, so they want to have stacks for Zai to work with. He just has the safe lane farm at this point.
Yeah, that is, of course, the biggest problem. There's a Gale on to the Void, a couple stacks onto him.
He takes a time walk proc.
Slow. I think he actually might die. He's going to time walk, but he's still very slow.
He's going to have to be careful.
TP
They'll TP
rotation.
in the Rubik. That'll keep him alive. They're going to try to turn on this interesting little... His 4-6. Why did he turn? Oh, Zai gets a kill that he probably shouldn't have grabbed. Zai will go down in the end. Seema the Slayer gets a return kill. Kuroki looking to put more damage in with a poison sting. He turns around and he definitely shouldn't have. S4, he has the S4 haste rune at 4 minutes into the game. Are you kidding? Seema's going to die. Oh my god. He's gonna steal all of his damage and then just whip him down. That's unbelievable.
Oh boy, that lucky rune. There's a chance he still goes for that kill and probably gets it anyway without the haste, but that just makes it not only easier, but makes him go back to base, or sorry, back to his lane even quicker, so that he doesn't really miss out on too much farm. So nice rebuttal there from Team Secret.
And like clockwork, Puppy 4.5 minutes into the game, level 6 with a soul ring.
Yep, just uncontested farm from Enigma. This is what happens, man, when you don't block these camps.
Yep. So now the question is, does he get boots? Does he go for a rotation? He has the boots on the courier as well as a set of wards, so he could easily rotate somewhere, whether that's top, whether that's mid. Blink in, Scream of Pain, but S4 is just a little bit of a tickle to him. He has bottle, one bottle charge as well. RTZ down bottom, still only 10 last hits, but it's more so, I think, giving him level 6 to work with. I think that's the idea for Secret sending him down here, because they're not really helping him at this point. They're prioritizing the Blink Dagger for Zai over anything else, I think.
Yeah, it's just an interesting decision, because... Oh, top lane.
He time walks away.
Possibly
He has intensity charges. Bottom
Here's
lane,
a dive on
RTZ.
RTZ.
Yeah, this is the real problem. Telekinesis, Kinetic Field, and the Thunderstrike, they blow him up. That's a squishy-ass hero, and Arteezy is treated like such.
And the problem with dives like that is Team Secret doesn't really have any good, like, counter initiation. There's no stun on them. They need a blink on the bat. They need a very fast mech onto Enigma, which I assume he probably will get. But other than that, like, Venomancer TPing in with the Gale is not very impressive. Razor, still no stun, but can somewhat help. It's just very awkward. Yeah, and there's Arteezy. He's like, screw this, guys. I don't care what you say. I'm going to the safe lane.
Well, they can get away with this now, though, because Puppy doesn't necessarily need the jungle anymore, and Zai can get away with taking some of these camps. So I guess they kind of just sack the offlane at this point, which is fine. They could give away that tower. But there is a wrap coming up from S4 who has an Invis rune. Does 9posh know, though? They don't have a ward up on that top rune spot. He also gets the most ridiculous rune luck, but... He
does, man. God.
They don't call it the S4 rune for nothing. I guess it's more of a haste rune kind of thing, but...
Well, like I said, he's not exactly the best at initiating. So if they can somehow slow him enough to where his time walk isn't that effective, and then S4 can kind of like catch up to him, maybe they get the kill.
They're gonna gust him. That's how they start this off. That's a long duration silence, but he will be able to time walk away. He time walks into the trees and not far enough out, and Kuroki gets the easy kill. When you make a mistake like that, they're gonna convert on it 100%, and they get the kill and take the tier 1 tower. A better trade. I mean, they lose the tier 1 bottom, yes, but they still get a huge kill in that offlane faces void. So.
Yeah, I gotta say, if he had 3 points in a time walk rather than 3 in time lock, then he easily gets away there. But really wants the extra damage of the time lock through his chrono, which is interesting to me because he's not farming well. And bottom
Zai in trouble. Gonna lasso up on a Tron. The glimpse coming back in. Zai's still alive. Finally will go down. RZ taking tower hits. Tron low as well. Top lane. Black hole, Sonic Wave going in, Puppy kind of low. They suck into the black hole with 9posh time walking through, but it doesn't matter. The Scream of Pain, gonna get a double kill, gonna get a triple kill for no one. 4 dead on the side of Secret. Now Vega turn on the Jets. They do lose the Queen of Pain in the end. Kuroki getting the kill with Poison Sting. which is actually kind of interesting. They could have denied that, but still, 4 down, and that's a huge pickup for no one.
Yeah, really nicely played. Unfortunately, Rubik was only level 5, so he's just sitting there staring at the black hole like, oh man, I wish I could steal this, but not able to do so. In the meantime, as you mentioned, they got those kills up bottom, and then able to back away effectively. The Bat Lasso was already used to, and as you mentioned, the whole problem with the Bat Rider being in the safe lane and not being able to have access to the jungle, at least early on, is really stifling his Blink Dagger timing. Yeah, he's got a bottle that's nice, but only 1,100 gold to 8 minutes. This is typically when we see a free farming Bat get a Blink.
Oh my god,
Arteezy.
Is he gonna die? Arteezy was at full health and Tron was at like 25 HP. Maleficus is gonna go through, but he has a haste rune. It's gonna run out, but Tron should be okay. They can't chase him down. And Arteezy dies yet again. His 3rd death. Coming in that bottom lane. He doesn't even have level 6 yet. That's a big problem. They need that plus damage. It's not coming from Secret right now.
Ooh, Kuroki trying to look for the kill. It's actually really fast with the Tranquils, and he has leveled up Gale. If he gets this, very, very close.
Misses. Just a dodge coming out from Tron.
That's
might have been too far away.
Because that's level 3 Gale.
That is some damage to work with. So they're going to have to focus their efforts onto the tier 1 tower down bottom. 9Posh gets from top lane as he's going for an Aquila. Zai's been relegated to the jungle, which, I mean, he needs his Blink Dagger desperately. But now maybe a rotation from Vega. They smoke up. They're looking for a fight. Puppey got to get jumped on. Scream of Pain. Now there's going to be a huge static storm. Puppey in trouble. Pops the buckler, but that does not keep him alive. Tron now getting static linked. Seema the Slayer. Big telekinesis TP coming in. S4 getting kind of low. 2 dead on the side of Secret. S4 did steal only 7 damage. Not doing much. His Eye of the Storm is what's really doing work in this fight. But Scream of Pain, the right click. No one needs one more right click to do the job, and he'll get it done. Gets the double kill. Arzik, meanwhile, bringing a huge line of creeps behind him. Doesn't give a damn. 3 for 2 trade in the end. They lost Tron, but still, no one getting involved early. He's already up to 2,000 gold. No one is rich.
He really is, and his build too is very effective against Razor, and just in general. Here comes the ulti there. Arteezy, he could be dead again. There is an ulti, not even necessary there from no one, and because he's got level 4 blink, he's actually just going to TP out. Ulti comes out from Kuroki. He's check. I think he will be fine because he's got the bottle charges to work with. So yeah, he's fine. Kuroki, unfortunately, now the Venomancer ult wasted. Oh boy, Vega playing very nicely. This is what happens when they don't crash and burn lane phase like they did last game.
They have a good start. They can snowball this Queen of Pain into an Orchid and to whatever item they want to give her. What about Tron? Phase, Morbid Mask, Coiling Blade, so not quite the farm of the Queen of Pain, but still up there. I mean, not many are going to have that farm. Meanwhile, they steal Poison Nova as well for Seema the Slayer. This almost feels like a Vega, dream game for Seema the Slayer at this point.
Yeah.
Steal Lasso, you could steal Black Hole, you could steal, well, not much from the Razor, but obviously Poison Nova, pretty good ability to steal.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because it's like I'm almost wondering if Kuroki went for this specific build just so he doesn't give off level 4 wards to Rubik, because that's really, really good for Rubik, right?
Yeah.
But if you don't have wards, then it's very difficult for you to actually cast another spell after your ulti if you already cast it in that instance.
You can just get 1 point in the wards, though, and just start spamming those, right?
Sure, yeah. I think that would be definitely the smartest thing to do. But he didn't go for it. He went for still full maxed out Gale. Level 7. So, no wards just yet. They're pinging out this Disruptor, I think. Or they're just pinging out in the area. There's a Blink up, ready to go onto the Bat Rider. Kuroki's going to run right into the Disruptor. And that's an easy kill.
Lasso. I'm not sure if it was necessary, but they get the kill regardless, and Vega maybe want to initiate on the back end of this, but into the Roche Pit. Black Hole is up.
Quab.
Yeah, they do. Sonic Wave is there. He is going Aghanim Scepter. Had he had it already, I mean, that would have been... They definitely fight into that, but I think this might just be Secret's Aegis to work with, because guess what? You have 9Posh top. He's not coming in. He doesn't have Chronosphere, at least not for another 10 seconds. And they are taking Roche pretty quick with Arteezy's right click, with S4 jumping in. He gets another haste rune, by the way. Looks like Roche will go to the side of Secret, and they'll probably give it to S4. Or Arteezy. That works too.
Yeah, they just need to leave. They don't have... They should have seen that S4 haste rune come out again too, and that's really devastating, so... Drow picks it up, but I actually don't even know if he's the best carrier for them right now. I think maybe S4 would be a little bit stronger, but we'll see. I just fear that Arteezy might die twice. Here's a TP back from Tron, as he's almost got his Yasha. An aggressive ward coming out from Zaya placed out there. The Chronosphere is now ready to go, but he's still up top, and
Kuroki runs right into Seema the Slayer, who pops Poison Nova immediately. Kuroki's about to die. Lasso not coming from Zai yet. They keep everybody alive with the mech from Puppey. Sonic Wave onto 2. They blow up Kuroki. No one throws it early. He has to blink away, though. Meanwhile, they take down RZ. He does get his Static Storm off. Now the TP coming in. 9 Posh gets the Chrono onto 2. The Frost Arrows. The Gust gonna go. S4 low. He's gonna fall. Doesn't have the Aegis. It was given to Arteezy. 9 Posh. Now they force out the Black Hole. They use it immediately. They cancel. Now the buyback coming in from RZ. He will have glimpse available.
Oh no!
Come in. Now Puppey in trouble. RZ glimpse back. Kinetic Field. Black Hole stolen. Seema the Slayer gets it onto 2. And that's the Aegis gone. Puppey's dead as well. They probably bring down Arteezy twice. Big steal from Seema the Slayer. Arteezy in some trouble. Scream of Pain gotta go. Gust as well. No one actually a little too far up. I don't think he needed to fight there. And now they can turn this. Spell was stolen. Sticky Napalm, not quite the spell they're looking for. Zai gets a double kill, helping his comrades out. Tron on the hunt. Zai gonna get to the high ground maybe with his Firefly. Looks like he will. Tron still looking for a kill. Arteezy going to maybe try to TP. He doesn't have one. Kinetic Field, they will spot him out. They won't get Zai, but they get Arteezy, the next best target. Pretty big kill coming out. And in the end, that fight turns into a 4-for-4. Aegis going the way of Secret. Buyback going the way of RZ on Vega.
Oh, who bought back? The
Disruptor.
The Disruptor, okay. I gotta say, that was actually an uncharacteristic, I would call it a misplay from Puppey. He definitely had enough mana for his Midnight Pulse after the ulti. And I thought for sure, oh yeah, bottom, it looks like we're gonna see aggression onto Kuroki. He has no TP, he blocks himself out.
Block. He's still gonna die.
Yeah, he's still gonna die. Nice try. He does get the Gale off onto the Disruptor, but he does go down. But yeah, I think that Puppey just not being able to cast that Midnight Pulse fast enough to give the Black Hole to Rubik was a big mistake. A big ulti onto both him and Arteezy, which set up the second kill later on, but he definitely had mana. I clicked on him and he just chose not to use it. Maybe he thought that Rubik was too far away. Maybe he thought the spell was on cooldown, but that's something you always have to do when you play against Rubik players, just instinctively. No matter what, when you cast a giant spell like that, and giving it away to a Rubik is very, very devastating.
Game changer, man. They get that off, and if they don't get that off, maybe Arteezy and Zai, well, Zai did walk away, but Arteezy and Puppey walk away scot-free. But that was not their fight as soon as that Black Hole from Seema goes down. And it actually does, I think, in terms of the money that Secret gained, they got a lot more than I think Vega did, maybe like 1,000. But in terms of the kills, it was even, and it probably shouldn't have been. However, no one now does have Sonic Wave with an Active Scepter. He is level 11, so the level 2 ult comes out as well, and where I think it becomes kind of difficult for Secret, and at least to fight into the Sonic Wave with the Queen of Pain is going to be very hard to do.
Well, two things about that. If the fight's going even when the other team had an Aegis, that means the team that didn't have an Aegis is kind of winning because they're able to take it basically 6-on-5. And not to mention that Team Secret is not... Actually, I'm looking at it, and it's not... I don't even think it's close as far as how good of late game Vega has. Like, they got Quap, they got Void Troll combo, they can steal the Black Hole. Secret Drow tapers the F off late game, and this is a hero that didn't even snowball. He's 1-5-2. He's having an awful game. I mean, it's not his fault he was in the off lane, and what can you do when you're a Drow Ranger in the off lane?
Yeah, that's the crazy thing to be. They pick a Drow Ranger, that's fine, but you put her in the off lane instead of putting the Bat Rider down there. It almost feels like kind of you're just saying, okay, you're on your own for the early part of the game, which is almost when you're strongest. Like at this point, like 16 minutes in, this is when Arteezy should be doing the most work, I feel like.
And I understand why they did it. I'm not saying like, geez, what are they doing? They're not going to get any farm on their Drow. Like, I know why they did it. It's because they were, one, expecting aggression. It basically freed up your jungle. If you look at it on paper, it would mean that you're getting more farm overall in Team Secret. The problem with that is it wasn't really the Drow, it was the fact that you had a great jungler Enigma, and then you had really nowhere else for the Bat to go. So he had to absolutely crush his lane, and that was it. That was the only one option for him.
Oh, they missed the kinetic field. Our S4 should be alive. He's even going to pop the drum charge, and that was probably a kill if he hits that glimpse in kinetic field, but he just got a bit too hasty. Meanwhile, Arteezy's going to get caught out here in the mid lane. Fade Bolt and 9 Posh with the Mask of Madness blows up that squishy-ass Drow Ranger, but he in turn is going to fall more than likely. They throw a blast, they throw a Poison Nova in the end. Thema actually steals Firefly, a cheeky play. Rolling Axes. Zai needs to be careful. They still have Sonic Wave, and no one's going to pop it off. Zai gets healed up with the mech. They were actually baiting that, although it is a pretty short cooldown, so I'm not sure if they're that concerned in the end. But at the end, it's a trade, an offlaner for an offlaner. So there's that.
Yeah, but this is, I mean, essentially that's better for Vega because Drow is still going to fall off and doesn't really have any farm, whereas Void, even if he dies a bunch, he's always going to be effective in the late game. Always, always. So, yeah, he doesn't want to die, but it's a little bit... Oh, Zai blinks in? What the...
Glimpse? Oh, Glimpse is just right back to where he was. Not that it matters. They get the kill with the Thunder Strike, and Tron actually gets a right click as well. That was uncharacteristic.
That was really weird. I didn't see the very beginning of it and didn't see what he saw, but wasn't expecting them to stay around. And they definitely did.
Yeah, S4. S4 getting close to, I would imagine, a BKB, although Axe is pretty good as well to keep your team alive, but BKB seems like a good choice for the Razor this game. They're going to try to go mid. Glimpse onto S4 will push him back. Void bottom lane. Black Hole is used, I think, for Puppey. Team of the Slayer has to... He didn't get it. He got Midnight Pulse instead. Meanwhile, mid lane, Static Storm going. They get the tier 1 tower. It's denied mid. They're still chasing after Seema down bottom. He is going to live. Poison Stink, he's going to take some extra hits, but he should still stay alive. He has a stick charge. In the end, nobody actually dies. The only thing that goes down is the tier 1 tower, which was denied mid by Secret. Black Hole was expended. I didn't see it. I didn't hear it either, but it was used from Puppey. It was used on Void solo, apparently, but did catch it. He didn't have Chronosphere either, but he has it now ready to go if necessary. Meanwhile, Tron's going to get chased down by S4. TP's going to come out. S4 can't get the kill. He'll back away instead.
Yeah, and that's the problem with just the lineup of Secret with having very minimal stuns. Their only stuns is Enigma and the Batrider, but the Batrider is using his for big targets and like big team fights. So most of the time you can just TP away from these heroes of Team Secret. They can't do anything. They can't do anything about it. So, and as you mentioned, the BKB, if that's gonna be the item for Razor, which it normally is when you see an Ogre Club, if it's an Ags, it's a little bit more value to pick up the point booster. It's not to say you can't pick up the Ogre Club for Ags first, but probably going to be a BKB. The problem with that... Actually, you know what? BKB is fantastic this game. Obviously, the Co-op ulti still goes through it. But most of Faceless Void's damage, even though he does have a Chronosphere, which will go through the BKB, obviously, most of his damage is magical. Time Lock is magical, so getting an extra boost of damage from that is... Or being able to mitigate that, I should say, from Razor is pretty effective. So I really approve of this pickup from S4.
He becomes super tanky with that, like you talked about, obviously, in the Chronosphere, but also the Gloves of Haze coming out, which is probably going to be a Maelstrom for Faceless Void, so even more bang for your buck for the BKB from the Razor as well. Yeah. Just in general as well, just to make sure he doesn't get glimpsed, because that's been an issue a couple of times for S4.
I mean, don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of other things to be worried about, like Troll Bash, Stun Lock, the Quap ulti is very, very strong. Oh, Kuroki just walks right uphill. He actually gets all his spells off, though. Yeah,
they do steal the Poison Nova. The Static Storm goes. It actually kind of just zones them out so they don't walk back up to the high ground. They kind of want to lick their wounds if you're Vega. And they do TP out and keep everybody alive, even, yeah, all three of those heroes TPing away and making sure they stay alive. It's not the biggest pick in the world, but it's something. Just to get started here. We talk about it, though. Secret kind of, it feels like they don't necessarily have, you know, there's not a timer, but they do have to worry later on in the game because eventually 9-Posh is going to be a problem. The Troll Warlord is going to be a problem. Obviously, the Sonic Wave, the Queen of Pain is going to be a problem. And well, Roshan is going to be up soon. Secret already rotating and trying to just stay around the pit. They even pick up a Gem of True Sight. Vega are smoked up. Will they go for a kill? Will they just sit around Roshan, maybe wait for it? We'll see.
Oh, is Puppey gonna... He just bought the gem. I think it's gonna go towards... Or be saved for the bat. Puppey gets caught up by a Chrono, and he's definitely dead.
Super dead. Falls within seconds. Zai on the backside, maybe looking for a lasso target. They're gonna jump in. Screamer Pain's gonna hit. He does force out nicely. He'll stay alive.
Yeah, and one thing to note too is Quap hasn't even skilled the Shadow Strike, which I think is totally fine, by the way. I think just being able to prioritize stats and just having more HP and more mana, you're never going to want to Shadow Strike the Razor anyway. It's never worth it. The Purge will just do more to you than it does to him, basically. Essentially, at least in the early levels, but I like this.
Could argue they need it for chase potential. I don't think they need that. They have Whirling Axes, Time Walk, Time Lock.
Exactly.
They have everything. They have telekinesis. I mean, it's not on no one to catch out heroes. It's on the rest of his team.
And it forces him to play a way where he's not like all in once he blinks in. So he's like blinking in, attacking, maybe ulting, walking away as soon as he blinks in, just kiting them out and waiting out his cooldowns. And that's really smart this game.
For now, they secure the kill on Puppey. They don't get that tier 2 tower bottom, which would have been a huge pickup to make sure they don't have that easy tower to rotate into when they're trying to go for Roshan. But Secret are going to rotate to Rosh as soon as it's about to respawn. And S4 finds yet another Haste Rune because why the hell not? I mean, he's been this lucky already. I'm sure he'll grab it at some point. Actually, Zai was in that bottles it up. But they're going for Roshan. They have no they have no usage of that Chronosphere yet for the Faceless Void, so are they going to just give this away again? It feels like they're not going for this for Vega. They're kind of just letting Roshan go down, and Secret's going to pick up the Aegis yet again.
And it is a relatively fast Roshan. You have to expect that when you have a Drow Ranger with 5 ranged heroes, so... There's a smoke right afterwards. I think it got spotted. I'm not quite sure. I don't think it did, actually. No,
it was just out of range of that Observer Ward, I think.
Yeah.
So Vega unaware that they might be getting wrapped on here, might be getting assaulted from the backside. Secret to walk right up. S4 leading the way. No one's going to get spotted. He blinks out immediately. 9posh realizing that maybe there's a couple heroes nearby. Poison Nova gets on to 3 from Seema. He'll try to TP out. Gus is not going to cancel the TP. Flame Break's a bit late to the party. Great presence of mind from the Rubik to TP out. And now no one's getting away as well. I don't think Arzik's going to be as lucky. Yeah, he's going to get Malefist, and he's probably going to fall as well. Glimpse maybe, if necessary. Kinetic Field keeps him alive, but there's the blink from Zion. I mean, if all you lose is Arzik in that situation, that's fine, I think.
Yeah, and it's 5 heroes moving all in the same direction, so they're not getting any farm out of it. Just 1 kill. So that's fine. It was a nice little fun play there by Rubik, who had a great game, but unfortunately he's very low level and he's not close to his blink. So while he's been able to get some good steals, he doesn't get to keep the spells for very long because it's only rank 1, and it's a little bit harder to steal some big spells in clutch moments when you don't have the mobility of a blink. So I would like to see them prioritize a little bit farm on him, or at least prioritize farm for himself, give himself a little bit of me time, as I call it, and then get that blink, because it feels like Rubik is just a completely better hero. Once you get that blink, you can just do a lot more things with it. Not to mention, even if you can't steal the spells, it's like that instant blink. It's almost like a blink hex with the telekinesis. It's a almost 2.5 stun second duration.
Well, I think it's so impressive that FY picks it up at like 15 minutes on the Rubik. I don't know how they prioritize his farm that heavily, but he always seems to find that early blink dagger on all of his heroes, Rubik specifically, which I think is his most known. Last is going to go on to Seema the Slayer, though. Speaking of Rubik, he's about to fall. Gus is going to come in. BKB for S4 is going to go. They're going to try to right-click Battle Trance. Sonic Wave. S4 gets blown up. The Chronosphere. Arteezy's going to fall as well. Kuroki in trouble, does get his Poison Nova off. Will he survive the question? No one getting Black Hole. Puppy pops it up, but not any damage coming through from the rest of Secret. Finally, they take him down. It's actually a 3-for-1. They turn it around. Secret with big damage. The Flame Break snipe onto Arzik in the high ground. That fight turned on its head quickly, and Secret take 4 down. They're going to push up to the high ground, and suddenly it's looking pretty dire here for the Vega Squadron on the Radiant side.
Yeah, it just wasn't a good ult from the Void. It only hit Arteezy, who had the Aegis. That was probably the worst chrono you could have, or at least the worst hero you could have selected out of the whole bunch. Now, was it his fault? Did Secret do a good job of spreading? I think so, but you have to be a little more patient to find those better openings. The Glimpse coming back on a very fast blink right afterwards. The Whirling Axe not there in time, and Zai does get out scot-free.
They take the tier 3 tower down, and now Vega have their work cut out for them. That fight actually dips the net worth lead in favor of Secret, almost 7,500. That is how big that fight was for that Secret squad. That's just absurd how much gold they get out of one fight alone. And that gives them so much in terms of itemization here. Venomator even almost has well, he has a point booster, also has a Veil, and he's getting closer and closer to maybe an Ag. So suddenly Secret have this big fight and give them a lot of items to work with.
It's funny, too, because Arteezy is just still so poor. He's just got such little items, but it's the extra damage that he provides with his team, I suppose. And Zai has just had a series, man. This guy has just been playing so well last game and this game, and really keeping them in this. Honestly, I say keeping them in this because I think Vega were in a good position, especially this game, but he's just been on point with his lassos. He's been very fast about it, and he's just not even just the lasso, but flame break when he needs to, creating pressure with Firefly and stacks of sticky napalm. And now he has his BKB.
I mean, Vega have been pretty close to a lot of these games, and they just can't really seem to clutch it out. They still have a chance in this game. They're not in nearly as bad of a position as they were in the last game, which is the good thing for them. However, Secret are going to keep the pressure on. They're going to smoke. They're going to head up to the top lane, and Tron is the target they are looking for. He does have a BKB. He does have a Blink Dagger, but he's going to have some quick reactions. In fact, he already blinks out, which is a smart decision, but Zai's going to find him with a lasso. The Firefly goes. Zai's got his detector on. The BKB's going to go for Tron. He'll try to get out, but it's just not going to work out. And Zai, with a big lasso yet again, gets another kill for Puppy.
Yep, that's a big kill. Very big kill. He has no buyback. Just bought items. Pinging out the Faceless Void now. But I guess once this Queen of Pain does hit level 16, she can maybe use her ulti to actually spam out lanes a little bit better, especially when they're pushing, but we'll see. It's going to come down to a big ulti from Faceless Void, whether or not Rubik can steal a big spell. And the biggest thing is just they cannot get picked off by this Bat Lasso, but that's way easier said than done, of course.
This has been, I think, been a lesson in Vega maybe banning out Bat Rider, or at least just making sure they prioritize it a bit heavier in terms of either picking it or dealing with it early on in the game, because this has been huge. Sonic Wave goes for little effect whatsoever. Vega, it doesn't really hit S4. And they have to push the wave out. They're just trying to delay as long as possible. That needs to stop. S4 looking to go up to the high ground. They have a couple of plague wards up here ready to go. They're putting in a lot of pressure on the tower, or rather the racks. And I mean, they actually, I think, get a lasso, or the lasso comes up from no one. They might use a Chronosphere onto all three. Static Storm as well. Zaya in trouble, but S4 and Arteezy, I think S4 got his BKB off. Arteezy was not so lucky, but no one already dead. Has to force out his buyback. Non-Posh goes down as well. The only hero dead for Secret is going to be Sai. They will not secure the melee racks. They do put a lot of pressure on it. They're going to try to heal back up maybe and then go again. We'll see. Big fight coming up from Secret again, and already a lot of buybacks used from Vega.
They were just very tanky on the side of Secret. That was a fantastic chrono. And the scary thing is that Puppey didn't even cast Mech until just now. Like, he just cast it after the fight. So that was without them even having the healing power of Mech in there. That's pretty scary. Like, Arteezy's really still underfarmed. They had a great chrono. The Bat Lasso didn't kill Quab immediately. That was about as good as you could have asked for, but they still didn't get that much out of it. And there's the Ag Scepter for Razor. So now the difference is the next time Secret do this, they can actually pressure the racks a lot easier and really force Vega to go. But
Secret they have complete control over this game because of those buybacks that were just used. All they really need to do is wait for, again, we say this a lot, wait for another Roshan and then go again, or they can just try to push that middle lane and secure that racks. Bloodstone coming out from Puppey. We've seen this before. I don't know if it was Secret that did it. I don't think it was. This is the choice for the Enigma. Make him tankier, have lots of mana regeneration, a big mana pool to deal with as well, and more importantly, the heal if he goes down. It was against the Treant, that's right. That was not Asus Polar, whoever they were playing.
That was
Tinker?
That was Jarek's, yeah.
Yeah, Jarek's for Tinker, yeah. Good call.
Yeah, I still don't like the pickup.
I remember you harping on it, man.
I still feel like there's just so many better items. But hey, if anything, he can kill himself and heal his team a little bit.
That's the
double
crazy
mech.
thing. Yeah, he can also get back in quickly into the fight. The problem is he doesn't have. Well, he does have bots.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and with that in mind, it could be effective. But I just think that me personally, I think there's a lot of better items to get. Necro Book. Could work towards a force, help out your team a little bit, but they're still in a great spot. They got a DD. Oh, they're pinging out Kuroki, who does get glimpsed. He does die.
They Sonic Wave him for good measure as well. Pretty big pickup.
Blink on the Rubik. This could be huge.
He lasso. Oh, that's a big target if they can get this kill. Puppey has Black Hole. Will they use it? Seam of the Slayer is nearby. Blink out from no one. That lasso kind of expended willy-nilly. Meanwhile, S4's in the base with a negative scepter. Non-Posh gets gusted. They actually have to glyph. Non-Posh losing a lot of damage. S4 has a BKB. Static Storm's going to go. They take down Non-Posh. Doesn't have buyback. Tron trying to right-click. Puppey's nearby. He has Black Hole, mind you. Something to keep in mind. 3 dead, though. They even lose the Radiant Courier flying out for whatever reason into the field of battle. That was weird, and suddenly that just, I think, turned the game around and maybe just won the game for Secret altogether. Because no buyback up for, obviously, the Faceless Void, and now it's going to be no one in Tron having to do a lot on their own. S4 gets Sonic Wave. That does a lot of damage, actually.
How did the Void die? I was looking at something else. Did you see that?
So S4 walks in the base with a double damage rune, and 9 Posh gets gusted by Arteezy, and the Static Rune goes. So he steals like 100 damage, plus the fact that he already has a DD on, so they just kill him, they whip him down. Yeah, exactly. Crazy. 9 Posh gets obliterated. No buyback. They'll take at least the tier 3. They'll mech up. Zai wants to keep going, it looks like. S4 not too sure. His Eye of the Storm back off cooldown, and suddenly the Melee Rex is going to go. Not down yet. S4 stays alive. Blink, Scream of Pain. BKB for no one. They have Black Hole, mind you, if they want to use it. Puppey's thinking about it. No Blink Dagger to use to work with. Lasso onto no one. Now he's in some trouble. They have no gust. Sonic Wave goes, but Arteezy stays alive. Tron, he is going to get out. Kuroki, not able to get the kill because of the telekinesis. Fade Bolt, Arteezy pops the BKB. He's going to TP away. Holding on to that BKB for dear life. Posh going to jump in. He has Chronosphere, but it actually does hit on his Zai. That's a pretty big target. Zai is going to fall at the end, and Kuroki might go down as well if they can get maybe a... They don't even need a bash. RZ gets a huge glimpse. In the end, they do lose that mid-range, the mid lane of racks as well as the middle or the bottom melee racks as well. So Secret, they lose a couple of heroes, but they accomplish their mission in fine form by getting a couple of buildings.
Yeah, it was so close. They almost saved the melee racks too, which would have been huge, obviously, because it would have regened all its health. But relatively good fight for Vega. They're still holding on. They're still in this. There's a huge lead there, of course, for Team Secret. The experience is actually going to be negligible here in just a second. That's going to go to 0 here relatively fast with 3 heroes dead from Team Secret. But I don't know, man. There's still potential. Like you can still do a huge Chrono ulti from Quap. With a Disruptor ulti on top of that. If Rubik can somehow manage to steal Black Hole, you gotta be really careful if you're Enigma, because that's one of the few ways that Vega can get back into this. In fact, you might as well just not even cast the ultimate at all. Like, just don't give him any opportunity to cast it unless, of course, he's dead.
He was being very patient with it.
He was, and that's a smart move.
He's not gonna throw it out if he doesn't need to. And I think that was really the smart play coming up from Secret. So yeah, Puppey holds onto the Black Hole, doesn't even use it. Going for a Shiva's, I'd imagine. Tron is near a double damage rune. If he takes that, which he did, I don't think they had a ward there. I'm not sure if they spotted him out. I don't think they did. They don't know. Secret are going to go for Roche at this point. Meanwhile, Tron is an enemy behind the lines, but they have the gem on Puppey, by the way. They're going to see Tron, it looks like. They pick him out, but Puppey's not going to chase him down any further. I don't... Blink. Ooh, Tron goes in. Arteezy getting manned up on. They leave him to his own devices, and he goes down. Tron is just too much of a man to deal with. Meanwhile... No Black Hole use. Midnight Pulse. S4 going in, though. Pops the BKB. Arteezy buys back. Time walk away. S4 kind of alone now. Puppey may be looking to fight. Malphus is going to go with a Black Hole for this. They have seen Slayer on the high ground. Now S4 getting called out. Big Chronosphere coming through. And S4 is going to buy his items before going down, but he actually stays alive. The mech's going to keep him up and fighting. No one has Blink in 3. Puppey about to use it. It looks like maybe thinking about it, finally goes for it. Seema will steal it. Actually comes into the Black Hole. Seema the Slayer. And that was not the play to make. He's going to die before he can get it off. Seema, you were too close to the hole, my friend, and that is a disaster. Down bottom, Posh, the only hero alive, and should be the beginning of the end. And Tron does have buyback, but he is the only one. And Secret will go for their victory lap, it looks like.
Yeah, he had a good idea, but unfortunately, if he blinked to the low ground, I think Puppey was actually on the high ground, so he wouldn't have been able to steal it. So he had to get himself to the high ground some way without getting caught by the hole. It didn't even matter. It doesn't matter. Buyback coming out from Troll to try to stifle the push just a little bit, gives some time for maybe the Quap to come up, but it's just not going to be enough.
Here, 4 is now Assault to the Ancient. Naked, Posh doesn't have Chronosphere. He's going to get lassoed up. Tron's getting right-click down. S4 is stealing literally all of his damage. S4 has an extra 140. Flamebreak will not cancel the TPA out, but Eye of the Storm plus the right-click from S4, probably enough. Static Storm's going to go. Maybe not. S4 are about to fall. They steal his spell. It's going to be the Eidolons. And the Ancient might live just barely. The Eidolons going through. Tron trying to defend this with all of his might. Zai's right-click, puny as it may be, almost going to get it. It looks like it will finally fall. Zai with the last right-click. There it goes. In the end, Vega try to hold on, but it's just too much in Secret. With a pretty solid performance here in game number 2, they take the series 2-0 in a long-winded but difficult series for Secret.
And I think that's the important thing. It wasn't like a rollover. It wasn't easy for Team Secret, especially in the second game. I thought Vega had a very substantial lead for, at least not so much in the metrics, but in the way that the game was moving and the way that the game, I think, maybe should have moved, just because I think their late game was still much better. But Secret just outplayed him, and it really comes down to Zai. I think Zai just played phenomenally in this series. And the last game we saw, if you didn't check it out, you need to, because it was looking to be one of the most one-sided games we've seen. It was a train wreck of a start for Vega. They couldn't get anything done. Every single lane was lost by a very wide margin. It wasn't just 2 or 3, it was 20 CS in every single lane up. And a big comeback, almost took it over, but Team Secret able to eke by that one.
Turns into a pretty close series in the end, and not many would have given a chance to Vega. They played their hearts out, but Secret will take the victory. with that being said, folks, that is our last game of the day. Only 2 on the tap, and of course, the tap's empty. Guys, thank you so much for joining us today here on DotaPit. Check us out, dotapit.com, for more information on the tournament. Twitch.tv/DotaPit. Make sure you guys check out the chests and the compendium in the Dota store. If you enjoy the cast, make sure you follow us on Twitter. Give us some shout-outs, criticisms, comments, and concerns. Jeez. All right, you can check us out at MottDota for me, at TralfDota for Tralf, at MottPex for our statsman, at MottPex, and then, of course, at PitUncle for our production manager. Shout outs to him for being great, as always. With that being said, folks, it's been a great day of Dota. Our next series, at least the one that is scheduled, will be beyond the February the 25th. That'll be, I believe, at 19 CET. It is going to be Secret versus Virtus Pro. Pretty excited for that matchup. Until then, guys, have a good night. Have a good rest of the week. We'll see y'all sometime soon.